Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still continuing our coverage of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's summit talks with the U.S. President Donald Trump, and that was just concluded a while ago. And still with my guest here at the studio, Dr. Cherif Amir, a geopolitical analyst. Dr. Cherif, we were talking about relations and cooperation and coordination between Egypt and the United States in settling conflicts and crises, especially in the Middle East, and especially with regards to the Palestinian issue, the Syrian conflict, the Libyan situation, and Yemen. Your take on that?
We have seen lately there was this conflict between the Israelis and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and it was 2 steps from war. And thanks to the Egyptian mediation, there was a ceasefire which was broke between the two sides. But Egypt is very clear that this won't go on forever, and Egypt was very clear on this point this time, especially when there was the mediation headed by the Egyptian intelligence, that sooner or later there will have to be a settlement, that the Palestinians should have a united front between Ramallah and Gaza under the Palestinian Authority of President Mahmoud Abbas Abu Mazen. But in the same time, we were asking that the Israelis show the way of talks and how they will view the settlement for a 2-state solution. I think that starting from tomorrow, after the results of the Israeli elections, things will be clearer. But Egypt is very, very concerned of this ongoing conflict because it's everywhere. And terrorism is being fueled. And President Sisi said it, that when he was in the Munich conference, he said it, that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the source of all these problems that we're witnessing today. So, and the Israeli newspapers highlighted it. So it's very important to listen to this analysis. I think that President Trump wished to listen to President Sisi's assessment of the situation. He needs to know how the things could go on in this region, especially that, as I said, there is a huge conflict that it's waging now between the United States and Iran. And Iran is showing that it's determined to have geopolitical gains in this region, which is a red line for Egypt that we would not accept. And also, we would not like to see that these kinds of conflicts be fueled everywhere like that.
Right. President Sisi began his visit with a meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and he also met with presidential advisor, U.S. presidential advisor Jared Kushner. How significant are those 2 meetings in specific?
First of all, I think that with Mark Pompeo, the U.S. Secretary of State, there was the topic of Libya. We know that now General Khalifa Haftar, heading the national Libyan army, is gaining territory, trying to unify the parts of Libya which was devastated by the terrorist groups all over these years. I think that Egypt was very clear also from the beginning that we have to work with a national representative of the Libyan people. I think that the discussions took place about this point also because the United States is not really on good terms with General Khalifa Haftar. Egypt's diplomacy succeeded in convincing the Europeans, our friends in the European Union, to work with him. I think that President Sisi will succeed this time also in convincing the Americans that there is a solution now. Unfortunately, it was by the arms, but it has to be a permanent solution. The terrorist groups should disappear from Libya, the country should gain again its sovereignty. The countries who are fueling and funding, financing terrorism, like Turkey and Qatar, should be banned from intervening in this conflict. So I think that President Sisi will make the case in Egypt's favor and in Libya's stability's favor also, that we have to ensure that Libya will have stability in the coming months. Then there will be the process of voting and democracy.
Right, Dr. Cherif Amir, geopolitical analyst, many thanks for your insight and for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And dear viewers, now with this we come to the end of this special edition, and we will be continuing our coverage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's current visit to the United States throughout the rest of the day. Minute by minute coverage, please stay tuned.